What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about news you might have missed for Monday, December 12th. This is going to actually incorporate a story from a few days ago, but I want to talk about what kind of happened just today first, and we'll get to the rest after. So starting at number one, let's talk about the future, and that's tomorrow and Wednesday, last two big days for gaming. I am actually going to talk about some of the review scores for High on Life and The Witcher 3 in this video, but just in case you guys didn't know, right? Crisis Core tomorrow, High on Life tomorrow, and then Witcher 3's next gen update Wednesday. So the last two, I mean, once this is over, there are games, but in reality, these are the last two big days for gaming in 2022, and then we're done. So very exciting, and again, a little something for everybody with those three games. And let's move into those two, at least two of the three. Crisis Core already got review scores last week. I think it's in like the mid to high 70s is where it kind of landed. But now we have High on Life and The Witcher 3. So let's start with High on Life. Now, this is kind of odd. I'll say that right now. So the review scores overall for High on Life are pretty okay, 77. But what's odd about it is like everything surrounding it. So it has a 77. I guess one final thing before I go too deep into it. I don't go based off review scores. I'm going to get this game anyway. I've talked kind of about my situation with High on Life. I'm going to get it, but play it after Crisis Core. I'm into it, but I'm not like, super pumped like I'm thinking about it every day. That's kind of where I'm at. All right, but just to make it kind of known, like I don't go based off review scores. I do just think, though, it's kind of weird, like what's going on here. So 77, 6 reviews on PC. And they range from 85, a bunch of 80s, 75, 70, right? That's the scores. And overall, at least these PC reviews, which are just, I don't even know how they necessarily know they played it on PC, but like they're pretty solid reviews. Even the 70 from Games Radar, pretty much overwhelmingly positive. Like, in fact, all those reviews say even if the comedy is not for you, you should still play this game. So that's something to keep in mind, right? But what's odd about it is only 6. And while, I'm not a cheerleader for IGNs and GameSpots of the world, right? IGN didn't even do a review for this game. And you go on YouTube, some people I very much respect what they have to say, and like Skill Up and ACG or like Mr. Maddie Plays. None of them did reviews. So 6. And then if you go to the Xbox Series X, because Metacritic kind of breaks it up upon what it's coming out on, right? So it's got a PC page, and then it's got an Xbox One page and an Xbox Series X page, and there'll be reviews for each if the reviewer, I guess, played it on that platform, right? So nobody did a review for Xbox One. Series X, there's only 3 reviews, which is not enough for them to give it an average. They need 4, right? But you look at these, there's only 3. Xbox Era gave it a 90, and then Destructoid gave it a 55, so a 5.5 out of 10. And then But Why Though, which I've never heard of them, gave it a 30, so a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. So a couple things. There's 9 reviews for this game. They're split up, so they're kind of odd. But then you do start to see, right? So like 90 is, I believe, the highest score of the two combined. But then also a 55 and a 30 is also lower. So while it has a 77, it does not count the scores of 90, 55, and 30, which I feel like, because there's only 9 of them, would bring it down massively. It does seem like this game is overall solid. I've talked about it that, because it's on Game Pass, you're only going to lose your time. I mean, maybe your sanity, right? If you hate the comedy, if the comedy is just bad for you, which is fine, right? Because comedy is subjective, and you play it, and then you're just like, this is awful. I mean, you may lose your mind, but other than that, you're only going to lose time. But it's just odd how it played out. Like, it's odd that they didn't give it to anybody. 9 sites. And it's like, hey, I'm not complaining like I didn't get it or other YouTubers. I mean, maybe you complain that other YouTubers didn't get it, but it's just odd, like the IGNs of the world, IGN didn't get this game to review it, or they didn't give it to them, or IGN passed. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't really make much sense to me. So that was an interesting one. And then, of course, you have The Witcher 3 just casually minding its own business, getting a 97. And this was kind of expected. The Witcher 3 actually originally got lower than that. I think it got like a 92 or 93 on Metacritic. Now, again, this is only based off 10 critic reviews. CD Projekt Red, though, did give this game out to more people. There's more YouTubers that played it, that did like preview things over the weekend. There's definitely more people that got The Witcher 3 than got a High on Life. That's for sure. But yeah, 97. So like 10s, 95s, 90s. I mean, it's a high score. And you can kind of tell. Just go on Twitter, go on YouTube. The game game is it's looking good. There's people posting a lot of like screenshots. I think even CD Projekt Red has done like comparisons of what the game looks like on PS4 versus PS5. It's not surprising, right? This is what you would want. 7 years later, free update. They didn't have to do this, like literally at all. And it actually ends up getting a higher score than the original game, which is pretty cool. So not much to worry about here. I think everybody kind of knows where they would stand with this. High on Life being the one that people maybe are a little bit more like, oh, well, maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. And that's the one that has the kind of weird review things that are going on. So there's those two. And the final news story is a rumor about Xbox, in that because they didn't do the Game Awards thing, right? There was a lot of frustration with Xbox that they really, the only thing they did at the Game Awards was ads. There were several Game Pass ads, so people definitely saw Game Pass for sure, but they didn't show Starfield, Redfall, none of it. I mean, those are the two most prominent because they're the next two, to come out in terms of like these gigantic releases. But people were pretty frustrated, and the rumor is the reason why they didn't do that is because they're going to have a rather large show in the first quarter, right? So first 3 months of 2023, where they will show stuff and announce new things and all that. So that's very exciting if it's true, right? It's a rumor, so it doesn't have to be true. But if we could get an Xbox show, in like February, and they give in that show a release date for Redfall, a release date for Starfield, and gameplay, right? Redfall, we've actually seen an okay amount of, so Starfield is the one you really got to start to push. And if they gave those two, and then you talk about Hellblade and Fable and State of Decay 3 and Indiana Jones. I mean, just pick. I mean, you have so many games you could pick from. I think that would be very, very good. So if that's the case, I would say that's pretty good. And I would say that would also quiet the people, which rightfully so, right? If people are mad about the Game Awards thing, that's totally fine. So I'm not saying like those people are in the wrong. But if Xbox does do a show in the next couple months that would be more than what you would get at the Game Awards, then I think everything would be okay. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below about any of these stories. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.